Hi there and welcome to Wonder and Frame. On March 14th it's supposed to be a lunar eclipse, and after a little bit of debating with myself I decided to give it a go and try capturing it. Watch the whole video and see how it goes. One of the reasons for my inner debate is that the weather was snowy these days, and when there is a snowfall you don't necessarily see the moon. Another reason was that I didn't have a proper lens to photograph the moon. But then I realized that in fact I actually had a lens which I could use, so I decided to give it a go. 4 o'clock in the morning, around minus 15 Celsius outside, and I was ready to go. I decided to hike up to a mountain top because this way I would be able to see the moon from the top and maybe have a little bit more time before it sets. ChatGPT told me that I wouldn't be able to see the whole lunar eclipse here in Alta, but only the beginning phase of it. So when I started the hike I was quite realistic about my odds for capturing anything. This is why I started pretty early, because the moon was gonna set around 6 a.m. so I was hoping to have about 1 hour between 5 and 6. Since it was minus 15 Celsius outside, I thought it was a good idea to wear a wool sweater underneath my shell jacket. But as always, my body only has two functions. It's either too cold or too warm. So I had to stop and take off that wool sweater because I got very fast, very warm. The wind on the mountaintop was very cold, and even though I'm used to be working in cold Arctic conditions, cold wind and cold temperatures are still a big struggle for my fingers every single time. Whenever I can, I always change my inner layer on the mountaintop. This way I can keep myself dry and happy. I had two cameras and two tripods with me. The first one was going to be used for time lapses and the second one for photos. I put my first camera on tripod to capture time lapses, and here I'm using that lens that I didn't know I had. It's a very old lens that I kind of didn't even buy. It came together with an old analog camera that I ordered a few years ago, and it was just a part of the package. So I actually never used it before, and it was fun testing it out today. At this stage my fingers got very cold, and I tried some tricks to make them warm again. Last year I was doing ice climbing for the first time, and our guide showed us this trick. You just hit your arms against your body, try to get the blood circulating better. And actually here I'm using my battery-driven heat gloves and some warm mittens on top of them, and it's still super chilly. And now two funny things happened simultaneously. I went back to the first camera to check out how it goes, and this is when I realized that I never started the time-lapse. I just kind of messed it up, and it just didn't start. Now I restarted the time-lapse, but as you can see the moon is already pretty low and is almost on the way to end up behind the mountain. At the same time I was struggling with my second camera, because even though I've been trying to put it on the tripod, it just didn't want to work. My fingers just didn't function properly and I gave up. So I decided to skip the tripod and just take pictures handheld. I took series of photos without a tripod and then manually put them together in a time-lapse in Photoshop. This is the result. And this second video is a time-lapse I got from my camera before moon disappeared underneath the clouds. I also managed to take a picture of the full moon before it disappeared underneath the clouds. And it never came back that day. I spent some time on the mountain top and took some pictures and some time lapses of landscapes around. I decided to hike down even before the sunrise because it was super chilly at the top and I've got enough of cold temperatures lately. So yeah, at least I can watch the sunrise while walking down. It's beautiful. The lunar eclipse didn't go exactly as I wanted it to. I guess I need to wait for another one. By the way, this mountain is called Komsa and it's the most famous mountain top in Alta. It is short and easy and anybody can hike it. It is such a popular trail that so many people hike it every single day and they create many different trails. Today I was the only person hiking this mountain, so I easily found my trail back and came home. And then I went to sleep. Yeah, I wish. I had to deliver my car to the garage for a service and after that I ran back home. But then I actually went to sleep. After a nap I realized that I managed to break that lens that I didn't know existed. Because while I was on the mountain top I managed to fall down on a slippery ice and yeah, that's what happened. But to be honest, I wasn't too disappointed because, well, I didn't even know that I had this lens until yesterday. At the end of the working day, I ran back to the garage just to pick my car again. And when I arrived there, I almost walked past my car without recognizing it because they cleaned it. This is my car before the service and this is my car after service. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one. Now I have a clean car. They washed it outside and they even vacuum cleaned it inside, so no more dirty car in my videos. Yay! Super happy with the service.